welcome to the final episode of this year's Road to Indy. This week I've got Dr. Jeff Iorg, the new president of the Executive Committee, joining us here on the show. Dr. Iorg, thanks for being here.
Thank you very much, Jonathan. It's an honor.
So we're recording this on your first week on the job,
correct?
And we're going to release this, so you're going to watch this a week before we get to Indy, and we'll talk about Indy in just a few minutes, but you weren't supposed to be here.
No, I was not.
Whenever you and I hung out in the fall, back in the state convention season, we saw each other in Alaska and a couple other places. You were headed toward retirement. This is not retirement.
No, it is not retirement, that's for certain. I had served 20 years at Gateway Seminary. My wife and I had concluded that it was time for us to end our service there. The seminary is healthy and vibrant and ready for transition. And so we were committed to walking them through that and leading them to the time when they had a new president, which they've now accomplished. But to our great surprise, this past January, when a previous candidate for this position decided not to continue in the process, the search committee came and asked if I would be willing to talk with them, and one thing led to another, and here we are.
Yeah.
So this is definitely not retirement. It definitely is a different direction, but one that I'm grateful to take, and what obedience to what I believe is God's direction in my life.
Yeah, and I'm grateful for you being here as well. It's been a tumultuous few years at the Executive Committee, and as you come into this role, like what are some of the things maybe you're focusing on as the new president of the Executive Committee?
Well, the first thing I want to say is thank you for the work you did over the past several months, because your service as interim president was outstanding, and the work you did in holding the Executive Committee staff together and in leading the work and in making some really hard decisions along the way has not gone unnoticed by many of us, and so thank you for your service. I've come to the Executive Committee really because of my appreciation for Southern Baptists and the impact they're making around the world, and my opportunity to help serve that in a new way. I believe in what we're doing as Southern Baptists. I believe in our mission boards, our seminaries. I believe in the other agencies and entities that we have. And I am glad to be here to help facilitate that work. And I think that's really what the Executive Committee's job is, to facilitate the work of the convention and its entities. And I want to stand in the shadows a bit, behind the scenes if necessary, but doing whatever is required to help our work to be more effective.
Now, you're no stranger to Southern Baptist. 20 years at Gateway, 10 years before that at the Northwest Baptist Convention, 15 years before that basically at local church staff. So a lifetime of service to Southern Baptist. What kind of excites you about this last, maybe I say last, this next chapter?
Yeah, it'd probably be the last chapter, but I understand that. Well, what excites me about it is, again, the global mission of Southern Baptists and getting to be a part of that. I owe a great debt to Southern Baptists. A Southern Baptist church led me to faith in Jesus and did that in a public place. I did not have a Christian upbringing or Christian family. That church mentored me from convert to associate pastor over a 10-year time frame. I went to I went to a university affiliated with Southern Baptist. I went to seminary, 2 of them, Southern Baptist. Southern Baptist sent me as a church planter to the Northwest. They gave me the opportunity to serve in the Northwest Baptist Convention and then now at Gateway Seminary. My life really is a product of Southern Baptist, the cooperative program, and what it's meant to me. And I'm glad to give back at this juncture of my life to try to help make that possible for a next generation.
Yeah, well, one way we're going to be giving back is by facilitating the annual meeting. Next week, 15,000 Southern Baptists are going to join us in Indianapolis for 4 days of preaching, of worship, of missionary commissioning, and of business. What's that going to be like for you on this side now, where you over the last 40 years, you've been kind of on the other side as an attendee?
Right. The biggest difference is now I have to go to all the sessions. In the past, if you got that
by the way, you should go to all the sessions too.
Yeah.
Everybody watching, be at all the sessions.
Yeah. But if I got there a little late or had to leave a little early, the convention didn't actually stop for that. But now I've got to pay more attention and be involved in that side of things. The other part of it for me that is different is seeing the behind the scenes work that it takes to put on the annual meeting of the Southern Baptist Convention. It is an unbelievable challenge to pull together and coordinate all of the events and activities that go on over those days. Everything from the business sessions to the worship sessions to all the reporting, all the legal and parliamentary issues that have to be addressed. Then on top of that, all the banquets and luncheons and meetings and receptions, just all the things that go into making it the really spectacular 4 days that it is. So that's been new for me, is getting a behind-the-scenes view of what that really takes. And it's a massive amount of work done by the team here and by others who come in to help.
Yeah, it truly is. And, one of the culminations of that, and I think it may be your favorite, I know it's a lot of people's favorite, the IMB commissioning ceremony. Mm-hmm. Like that seems to be the pinnacle of the meeting for everyone.
Yeah.
And I think it's one that you're very fond of as well.
I've talked with you about this. It is the highlight of the Southern Baptist Convention for me. When I go and I see missionaries being commissioned, I hear the report of the International Mission Board, and I see all that means for getting the gospel to the whole world. It makes my heart sing, makes me proud to be a Southern Baptist, and gives me a sense of why I'm really at the meeting. Yes, there's a lot of other things that go on. And I also like to celebrate church planting and seminary students and all the other things that happen. But really nothing crystallizes for me what it means to be a Southern Baptist like knowing that I'm sending people all around the world with the gospel.
Now, I think it's a good reminder, too, of the importance of cooperation. Mm-hmm. We see maybe threats to our cooperation, threats to unity in the Southern Baptist Convention. And that's a really good reminder and maybe a way that we can move forward together in greater cooperation as Southern Baptists.
It absolutely is. Southern Baptists are so unique in that we cooperate. We're not mandated to work together. We're not coerced into working together. There's no requirement that we work together. We do it because we want to. I'm often asked, is that our mission or our doctrine that holds us together? Well, it's both, but even more than that, it's our want to. We simply want to work together. And the reason we want to work together is because of what I call the economy of impact. In business, there's something called economy of scale, where the larger something becomes, the more impactful it can be. But in our work, it's the economy of impact. The larger we've become, the more impact we're making. More missionaries sent, more seminary students educated, more people involved in disaster relief, more people leading out in all kinds of need-meeting ministries, and then, of course, the churches. So that's why I want to cooperate, because I see the incredible impact Southern Baptists are making. Now, in the context of cooperation, there are always challenges. Yeah. Because quite frankly, we're so big now and so diverse and with so many perspectives, there's absolutely no way we're going to be unified on every single issue. And sometimes those issues require significant debate and discussion about how to move forward. But overarching all of that is our want to, our desire to cooperate around our mission and our doctrine, and to say, despite the difficulty, the economy of impact is so dramatic and so significant that I want to keep working together because of all the things Southern Baptists are able to accomplish when we work together.
Now, you mentioned the diversity over the last 30, 40 years of your time in Southern Baptist life. That's changed dramatically. And has it led to challenges? Sometimes. Has it led to opportunities? Absolutely. But it's one of those things that's worth it for us to put the want to, the effort into, to better cooperate across a diverse group of people.
This is one of the best things that's changed about Southern Baptists in my lifetime of leadership, and that has been the increasing diversity of our convention. We now have multiple fellowships of churches that have joined the convention, multiple groups that are part of us, and then within those, the multiculturalism of churches is also growing. Now, this brings challenges because we have to learn new ways of working together, but more than challenges, it is enriching. It brings something to the table that we just don't have when we see the world only through one lens. So I'm grateful for the increasing diversity of our convention, and I want to keep enhancing that every way I can.
So as we gather next week in Indianapolis, what's the one thing that you'd hope Southern Baptists there who are in attendance, as well as those maybe watching at home or just going throughout their life as Southern Baptists in the pew and in the marketplace, what's the one thing you want them to take away from?
I want them to walk away inspired by what we're doing to impact the world with the gospel of Jesus Christ. I want them to come away inspired by the reports of the mission boards and the seminaries and the other entities. I also want them to come away inspired by the worship and the preaching and the fellowship and the sharing of life together for those days, so that we walk away saying we're energized, we're focused, we're motivated to keep doing this important work that God has assigned us. And in the context of the meeting, there's going to be debate and discussion about different issues, and there'll be decisions that are made, and that's a part of what we do together. But I hope that's subsumed, if you will, under the greater good of the meeting, which is the impactful work that we're doing as Southern Baptists, and how we can celebrate that, be inspired by it, learn how to do it more effectively, and be motivated to go home and do it in the work that God has assigned each one of us.
Absolutely. And thank you for being here today. We're excited to have you here at the Executive Committee, excited for you to be with us in Indianapolis next week. And we're excited to have you with us in Indianapolis next week. We hope you join us. And want to thank you for watching The Road to Indy, presented by Southern Seminary and Boyce College this year. 20 episodes covering a diverse view of the Southern Baptist life and all the information that you need for the annual meeting next week in Indianapolis. If you missed any of the episodes, please be sure to check those out in the app or at sbcannualmeeting.net. And once again, thank you, Southern Seminary and Boyce College, for being our presenting partner this year for The Road to Indy. We will see you next week in Indianapolis.